How do you measure a calorie? This actually came out of a homeschool lesson with my 4 and 7-year-olds. They were like, what is a calorie? And I'm like, that's a really great question. I'm going to bring it to our Pure Physique family because you should know what a calorie is just in case you don't. So I'm going to walk you through that. And then I want to give you just a secret way to check in with your body. It literally is like the secret way to do it in a very effective way. That's just not like, how are you feeling? Okay. How are you feeling? Good. How are you feeling? Tired, right? There's a deeper level than just that. And it really helps us to pay attention to, are we eating enough calories? Maybe we're eating too many calories. All right. So what is a calorie? Well, in its simplest form, a calorie is a unit or measure of energy. So here's the crazy thing. Your body is burning calories all day long. It takes calories to pump blood through your heart and your body. It takes calories for your brain to think. Did you know that thinking burns calories? Don't get too excited. It doesn't burn too many calories. Did you know that it takes calories to talk, to move, whether you're walking or doing a resistance training exercise with us or chasing your dog down the street? We do so many things all day long that burn calories. Now, your body's job, believe it or not, is actually to conserve the number of calories you burn. So back to the thinking, I just always thought this was very fascinating. When you start to think about something very complicated or you're not following a topic, your brain is biologically designed to tune out or zone out, leading you to daydream or space out or not pay attention to what's going on. Have you ever sat in a lecture or a class conference meeting before and you're like, wait, what are they saying? It's literally because your brain's override system turned on and was like, whoa, this is too complicated. It's causing too much thought to happen. We are burning too many calories. And because my job is to conserve the number of calories this person's body is burning, I'm just going to stop the thinking. It's kind of crazy, right? So calories being a unit of energy, calories come from 3 different things, which are our macronutrients. And again, I should preface this with, we don't count calories at Pure Physique. We have a much more efficient way of doing things because who really wants to count up to, 1,000 or 2,000 calories? That's a lot of counting. We say in the single digits in the way that we track and measure food, but calories come from our proteins, our carbohydrates, and our fats. Now here's what's super cool. When we're talking about a protein or a carbohydrate, in every 1 gram of protein or carbohydrate, I'm going to take this little highlighter. That doesn't work. I'm going to take a pen. There are 4 units of energy packed into every gram of protein. So when you eat a gram of protein, there's actually 4 units of energy in that protein. When you eat a carbohydrate, there are 4 units of energy packed into that gram of carbohydrate, which is so cool. Now, my kids were like, okay, hold on a second, Mom. If I'm eating calories and I'm burning calories, like what if I burn too many? Or what if I eat too many? And I'm like, that is an awesome question. So I got this Texmati rice as an example. And in this Texmati rice, I'm not going to get into the macros, but what I will say is 1 serving is 170 calories. And they're like, okay, so I'm going to eat 170 calories. And then let's say I go and I walk and I move and I do a whole bunch of stuff and I burn 170 calories. I'm like, that's great. You actually burned what you took in. And so your weight, outside of hormones and sleep and stress and all the other factors that we know influence our weight, your weight should hypothetically stay the same. They're like, okay, well, what if I wanted to eat like a lot of oatmeal? And I'm like, all right, well, in a half a cup of oatmeal, we have 200 calories. They're like, what if I ate like 4 cups of oatmeal? Okay, that's 800 calories or 800 units of energy. And they said, what if I just I sit on the sofa right after I eat 800 calories of that food? Well, that's a great question because your body doesn't need to burn or expend those units of energy or calories. Your body is going to store them. And that's when we start to put on weight or put on fat. Our body will store it because there's nothing to do with it. We don't need it. So in all of our foods, I wanted to just briefly explain what that looks like. What I want to lead you to, though, is, and I didn't bring it in, fat. Fat as our 3rd and final macronutrient. Fat is crazy. I don't think I have enough pens here to do this to actually show you guys. Yes, I do. What it's going to look like. But fat, in 1 gram of fat, there's not just 4 units of energy or 4 calories. There's not just 8 units of energy or 8 calories, but there's actually 9. So if we actually look at a gram of fat, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in 1 gram of fat. So when people come and complain and they're like, how come I can't eat all this like peanut butter and cheese? And why is it such a big deal how much oil I'm putting like in my cooking or my salad? Well, it's because for every 1 gram of fat you're using, there's actually 9 units of energy. Fat is incredibly dense when we're talking about it in a food context. So really awesome stuff. I hope that that's helpful for you, and helps us to kind of better gauge like, oh, wow, that makes a lot of sense why I wanted eat a moderate amount of fat, not go crazy unless I'm doing a keto. Okay, we'll get into that in another video. I hope that that makes sense. I think that's all I want to say. And what I want to walk you through is really just a secret way now to check in on, am I eating enough calories? How is my sleep? How is my energy? How am I feeling overall? Because Mike just recently covered the 13 to 15 different factors that go into our body's ability to lose fat, and taking in that food and digesting it. Well, that's just one of them. There's a whole lot of other factors. So I sent this midweek check-in out to a handful of our VIP clients 2 days ago, and I wanted to share it with you. And that is, I just said little midweek check-in, 5 measures. How is your energy? Scale of 1 to 10, 10 being highest. Now, I often ask them this when we get on a phone session or we're checking in, where's your energy at? Because it's really important for me as a coach and for you as a human being to say, my energy is always at a 3, right? It's really low. I'm really fatigued all the time. But all of a sudden, I start maybe for you increasing the number of calories you're eating. And all of a sudden your energy starts going up. You're like, oh my gosh, my energy is like a 5 or it's a 6. A 10 scale or a 10 rating scale is a really great measure. It's not just like, is it 1 or is it 2, right? Is it crap or is it great? It gives us a nice good measure of actually how much energy we have in our body. And it enables us to see over a day, over the time of day, or even over a week, where does your energy end up? And if you're consistently low, one of the reasons could be you're not consuming enough calories. Another reason could be you're not getting enough sleep. So we have to be honest with ourselves and go into that next check. So after energy, I will ask them about stress, scale of 1 to 10, 10 being most stressed. So that way I can quickly pick out my chronic stressors. I know that that's going to be a huge component in their inability to lose weight quickly, because we constantly have dumps of the hormone cortisol going into their body. They're chronically stressed is what I call it. So anybody that says 6 or higher, we got some chronic stress going on. I would say it's pretty typical to be 5 or lower. If you're at like a 7, 8, or 9, there's definitely something we want to do about the stress. And that's usually when we'll lead somebody to like a gut health intervention or meditation or breathing or something to help manage that, because that's not a great measure. So see where your stress is. The third question I ask is, how is your sleep? And it's not just like my quality of sleep, because that's kind of hard to quantify, right? Like my sleep was a 7, my sleep was a 2. How do you measure that? What I ask is, when are you going to bed? When are you getting up in the morning? And are you sleeping through the night? Right? Is it uninterrupted sleep, which means I'm not getting up a million times because, my hot flashes, or I got to pee, or I got to whatever it is. How's your sleep? Now, that to me is actually one of the most important measures here in just rating. Are they digesting their food? Is their body repairing and regenerating and doing the things that it needs to do at night? Or is that process constantly interrupted? Think about an update on your computer. You're doing your update on your computer and it's like, pause, you lost the internet, like got to start over. You're like, damn, you know how that feels? It's the same with our sleep. Our body literally needs to do like a full reboot. But in that process of doing that throughout the course of the night with you sleeping, your body constantly gets interrupted, and then it tries to go back and do it again. Then it's interrupted again. It tries to go back and do it again. It's not going to have the most solid, thorough, fluid reboot, rejuvenation, revitalization of your body, your cells, and of course, digesting. You know what it feels like when you have a terrible night's sleep and you get up and you're like, gosh, I feel like I'm still digesting my food from the day before. It's because you are. All right. And then the last 2 questions I ask are, how's your protein, right? We at Pure Physique stand behind the fact that we always want to get in plenty of protein. Lots of reasons there. Quickly manages blood sugar, manages your hunger or feeling satiated, feeling full. And it also helps to ward off a lot of cravings. And then finally, I'll ask them how many portions they get. And then finally, it's, what are you most proud of? Because guess what, guys? We just don't celebrate ourselves, right? Have you ever been like, I did such a great job? People are like, you're a narcissist. That's not what it is at all. It's kind of true, right? But we don't celebrate ourselves. And chances are, like, unless you're a unicorn, you don't have somebody in your life that's like, you're awesome, you're great, you're amazing. It's really awesome. And I think that that's why a lot of people in our community appreciate being in our community, because chances are, if you're at one of our studios or on our online program working with a coach, they are going to tell you that, great job, you're awesome. But this was a reflective point. Like, what are you most proud of or excited for? Now, one of the clients wrote back and she was like, I'm proud that I'm actually celebrating my progress through the journey. And in sharing it with my husband, he started to celebrate me too. I'm like, that's awesome, right? And it's not just like, that's awesome. The whole thing is, I mean, everybody looks at me and they're like, oh, like, you're always just like happy and like you're cheering people on. Here's what I know to be true. From a scientific, biophysical level, when you do something and you celebrate it, you are actually wiring your brain for success. Think about this. I took myself to the gym, I got a workout in, and I came back home. If I just sit on the sofa and I'm like, oh, I did my workout, your brain is not likely to want to bring you back to that action of doing a workout. Your brain is going to say, well, you did your workout and you had to do it because it was a task. And it puts that workout into the same category of laundry, cooking, doing your job, meeting deadlines, working out. They all suck, right? Maybe you like laundry. But it puts it into that category in your brain. You actually have categories. Did you know that? However, when you come home from that workout and you're like, yes, self, high five myself. That was amazing. I'm so proud of myself right now. Your brain will put that workout in the same category as things that are fun, exhilarating, and exciting. Maybe going on a vacation, getting a surprise, getting a present, things that make you happy. Isn't that crazy? So why do I always say, like, celebrate all wins? It's not about like, I can only celebrate myself until I've lost 30 pounds. How about you celebrate the pound you lost last week? A win is a win is a win. And we have a great client at the gym, Frank. I'm going to give him a shout out, who's actually an administrator in a school. And he was like, I've brought that to my school. Like, the fact that you always say a win is a win is a win. Why do we, like, who's deciding what's big and what's little? It's ridiculous. A win is a win is a win. And so celebrate those things. When I ask my clients, like, what are you most proud of or excited for? I know that we're actually working within their brain to create a connection that says that was a good thing. That's something that I, as a brain, want to get rewarded for, because your brain always wants to be rewarded. That's why it's easy to get addicted to cigarettes or food or whatever, right? Throw your vice in there, because it's a reward system for your brain. So when we high five ourselves for a workout, we create that connection that says that was a good thing. I want to go back and do that again. Now, it's crazy. I'm going to leave you with the last piece here. The last piece is this whole 21 days to form a habit. I don't totally buy it. I don't like it. I'm going to tell you why. The reason I don't like the 21 days to form a habit is, have you ever met a smoker, somebody that's like smoked their entire life? Did they have to practice smoking a cigarette for 21 days before they became a lifelong smoker? Or did they just pick up a cigarette once and then never put them down, right? They smoked for 50 years straight. Did they have to practice that? No. They didn't. It was a reward system. Their body enjoyed the nicotine, the chemicals, whatever was coming in. They felt good. Maybe depending on the generation you grew up in, they felt cool, right? They weren't like a loser anymore because they put a cigarette in their hand. I mean, seriously, that's, social pressures and biases. And so if we celebrate the workout, we don't have to practice going to the gym every single day for 21 days. We can actually hack our mindset and get in and say, that was awesome. I'm amazing. Maybe you put on a song that you love when you get home. You give yourself that high five. You give yourself a big glass of water. Maybe you wrap your protein shake bottle. You're like, yeah, I get to open a present. I know it sounds cheesy. And some of you are like, I would never do that. That's fine. Don't do it. But just understand that it works. You don't have to practice it for 21 days. If you create such a reward system for yourself in your own brain, you will wire yourself for success. All right, guys, that's all I got. Long video. I'm not sorry. I hope it was great and you enjoyed it. And now you know what a calorie is and how to hack your brain for success. Have an amazing day.